Welcome back. All right, so you'll see that the jersey I'm wearing, what you can see of it, that's what the Canucks are today. So anyways, we've got 9 games to review here. If you're looking for the matinee games, I already reviewed them. There's videos already on the channel. So let's waste no time. We'll jump into this because, of course, it's Power Rankings night, and the Power Rankings are baffling. So anyways, by baffling, I mean I'm going through and having to re-rank a lot of teams here based on the results of the last week. It's not easy. So Ottinger versus Allen to start things off between Dallas and the Montreal Canadiens. Ben couldn't bury one in close. Habs get a power play. It becomes 25 seconds of 4-on-4, and then it's a Stars power play, and they score on it. It's Pavelski. He scores from Ben and Robertson at 4:24. So Pavelski's off to another amazing start to the season, to really the surprise of no one. And it's a bargain contract. So the Habs try to answer. Stars press at the half. Dvorak has a rush chance, that save. The Habs press with 8.5 minutes left. Miller fires one wide on a rush. Caulfield then had a net drive that was defended, but at 15:35, the Montreal Canadiens get on the board. It's Hoffman from Evans. So, makes it 1-1. That's your score after the first period. Second period, Dallas gets the lead at 18 seconds. Yeah, Pavelski from Hintz, buries it from the slot. No chance on that one for Jake Allen. The fans then call one. The ref does not. So that's not very popular. Gallagher's denied on a rush, and then he gets injured along the boards. And it was a rough-looking play there. So the Habs get a power play. It becomes a 4-on-4. Gallagher was back during the 4-on-4, so that's good news for Montreal fans, because Gallagher's off to a decent start to the season. And then on the power play, it's Robertson from Ben and Pavelski at 4:31. So Robertson's back, goal and an assist. Who needs training camp? Certainly not Jason Robertson. Pavelski with his third point, I should say, to go with his 2 goals. Delandry then had a net feed that was blocked. Evans has a rush chance that's saved. Gallagher leaves again. So that's the thing, right? Like, he comes back and you're like, okay, it can't be that bad, but he leaves again, so maybe it is. Then Jack-Eye gets his first goal in the National Hockey League from Monahan and Suzuki at 15:58. And then Dvorak almost ties it. The Habs, they press with 2 minutes left, but before the period's out, Lindell, he scores from Delandry and Johnston at 19:43. So, Dallas, they have a 4-2 lead after 2 periods. Third period, early press by the Habs. They get a power play. That was killed off. And then for Dallas, Lindell with his, not Lindell. There's the Habs power play killed off, and then Pavelski scores 5-on-5. That's what broke me, is that it's a 5-on-5 goal for Pavelski and a hat trick. And he is the oldest Dallas Star to get a hat trick. Prior to this, that would be Brett Hull at age 36. Pavelski at age 38, and he looks like he's 28 with the way he's playing. Hintz and Lundqvist with the assists at 6:53. The Habs get a power play, becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. So Pavelski with his hat trick powers the Dallas Stars to the 5-2 win. They go to 4-0-1 on the season. Montreal's 3-3. The shots 14-12 Montreal in the first, 13-11 Montreal in the second, 7 shots each in the third. Final shots 34-30 for Montreal. Power plays Dallas 2 for 3, Montreal 0 for 4. The hits 26-16 for Montreal. Ottinger, fantastic. He has really picked up where he left off in the playoffs last season. 32 saves on 34 shots, and for Jake Allen, 25 saves on 30 shots, as Montreal ends up getting the loss here. Next up, we've got the Kings and the Capitals. So this was an interesting one. The Kings have been, they have trouble keeping the puck out of their net, but their games are never boring, so there's that. So it's Quick versus Kemper. There's an early power play for the Caps. The Kings do kill that off. Orlov then had a net drive that was held. Byfield's denied in close. The Kings press at the half. Carlson has a shot that's held. The Caps press with 3.5 minutes left. In the second half of that period, the Kings were held to 1 shot. So the Kings, not a fantastic period of hockey, but it's still tied. Second period, Arvidsson has a shot deflect wide, and then Dursey buries one from the slot at 1:26. Arvidsson and Moore with the assists. So LA gets on the board first. The Caps then press at 2.5 minutes. They also get a power play. That was killed off by the Kings. The Kings press with 8 minutes left. Caps get another power play. The Kings killed that one off as well. So the Kings penalty kill comes up big there. There was no shots on that Caps power play either. Brent Clark then had a rush chance that deflects out, and then Danault makes it 2-0 for the Kings, the dreaded 2-0 lead. Arvidsson and Moore with the assists at 15-23, and that was on a good forecheck that Danault ends up getting that goal. 3:12 left, the Kings get a power play. That was killed off by the Caps. And then the Caps with some pressure in that final minute, but no McNuggets for you if you're a Caps fan. So we go to the third period as 2-0 LA. All they got to do is lock it down. They don't. They started off giving very little to the Caps. They did have 3 shots in the first 3 minutes, but I thought they were from a distance. It wasn't that dangerous until at 3:11. Yep, maybe I jinxed it. Dowd scores from Jensen. That was off a 1 face-off, and it was a screenshot, so not much chance on that one for Quick. And this made sure that Quick has never had a shutout against the Washington Capitals. Caps then look for the tie. Johansson has a shot that's saved, and then Carlson ties it from Orlov and Kuznetsov at 4:10, and Quick just flat out missed it. He almost caught it with his glove, but it goes under, and it goes into the net, and you can see him look skyward. Then there's a near miss for Mantha on the rush, and then Eller puts the Caps into the lead from Orlov and Carlson at 8:59. So that makes it 3-2 for the Caps, but the Kings do answer. It's Arvidsson from Moore at 10:31, and then the Kings press with 6 minutes left. They're looking for the lead. However, at 14:35, it's Johansson that gets the goal to put the Caps ahead from Orlov and Oshie. So that makes it 4-3 in favor of the Capitals. Goalie gets pulled with 2:36 left with 35.9 seconds left. The Caps guilty of an icing, but the Kings are unable to get that tying goal. Your final score is 4-3 for the Caps, who even their record at 3-3. The Kings are 3-4 on the season. The shots are 8-5 Washington in the first, 8-7 LA in the second, 17-13 Washington in the third. So they had more shots in the third than they had in the first 2 periods. The Kings just could not hold that defense. Final shots 32-26 for the Caps. Power plays LA 0-1, Washington 0-3. Hits were 32-16 for the Capitals. Quick with 28 saves on 32 shots. Kemper saves 23 out of 26. And so for the Capitals, they even up their record. Next up, the Islanders in against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay, I still don't think they've had a really good game yet. This is the thing. The Tampa Bay Lightning, they're kind of skating by a little bit here. I don't think they've had a really good game yet. So Sorokin versus Elliott in this one. Early chance for the Bolts. Sergachev has a rush chance. That's held. Nelson then had a rush chance that was saved. So some good rushes early. Highlight reel saves by Elliott at this point as well. The shots are 6-3 for the Islanders at 8 minutes. But Tampa Bay opens the scoring. It's point from Kucherov and Hagel at 10:43. And that was the 4th shot. He buries it in close. And Tampa Bay, despite not getting very many shots, they're ahead. The Islanders try to answer, and Martin would get an unassisted goal at 12:29 that does exactly that. The Bolts then press. They're kept to the outside, but before the period's out, Tampa Bay gets the lead back. It's Hagel from point and Hedman at 18:03. The Bolts then get a power play, and then there's a penalty right at the end of the period, which Lane Lambert didn't agree with, makes it a 5-on-3 for 41 seconds to start the second period. So, second period, Killorn couldn't bury one. The Islanders cleared out. They did kill it off, but not long after, at 3 minutes and 12 seconds, is Corey Perry with his first of the season from Belmar and Maroon makes it 3-1. And he buries it in close because that's where Corey Perry's made his money. The Islanders get a power play. That was unsuccessful. Tampa Bay kills that off. Colton then had a rush chance that's held, but Beauvillier would answer for the Islanders from Nelson at 9:36. So the Islanders making it close. And that one went right through Elliott. It's one of those ones that you look at and go, how did that go in? And it went through Elliott. So lucky break there for the Islanders. Strong forecheck by the Islanders as well. But just as the period's coming to an end, Paul scores from Colton at 19:59. Originally it was listed as 20 minutes, but they changed it to 19:59. So Tampa Bay gets that 2-goal lead back before the end of the second period, which is key as we enter the third. So, third period, the Islanders press at a minute and a half. Lee has a rush chance that's held. The Islanders get a power play. Nelson's denied. That power play is killed off. Pulock, though. Pulock does get the Islanders closer. He scores at 5:45, and then the Islanders look to tie it. Bolts get a power play. Hedman has a blast that's saved. There's a shorthanded chance for Mayfield that was blocked. They did kill off that power play, but not long after, at 14:08, Killorn would score from Paul and Sergachev. So Nick Paul with a good game here, goal and an assist. And Killorn, getting on the board seems to be key as this restores the 2-goal lead. Foot then blocked a chance for Wallstrom. Goalie pull with 2.5 minutes left. Nelson has a blast that's held with 1:16 left. The Islanders call a timeout. Whatever was discussed, it was unsuccessful. Your final score is 5-3 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They go to 3-3 on the season with the win. The Islanders drop to 2-3 with the loss. Look at all these teams that are 3-3, 2-3. All these teams that are right around each other. And yeah, that board, I'm going to have to look at it again before I do the power rankings. They may post in the morning. It may take a while. So the Islanders outshoot Tampa Bay 11-7 in the first. Second period, Tampa Bay outshoots them 14-11. And in the third, the Islanders outshoot them 15-5. So really momentum shifts all around. Final shots are 37-26 for the Islanders. Power plays, both teams 0 for 3. The hits, 48-29 for the Islanders. They out-hit them, they outshot them, out-chanced them. Sorokin, uncharacteristic, 21 saves on 26 shots. Elliott was very good, 34 saves on 37 shots. So Tampa Bay wins this one and evens up their record. So that seems like an important thing to do early in the year. Pittsburgh, so Penguins gear. Because I was impressed with Pittsburgh tonight. They didn't start on time, but boy, did they finish. So it's Jarry versus Merzlikins. Heinen took a puck to the arm. That looked ugly. That has to hurt. There's no padding where he took that puck. Power play for Columbus. Bean has a screenshot that's held. The power play's killed off, but it had 4 shots. In fact, the shots are 8-0 for Columbus at 6 minutes. So they come out and they're swarming. And then Jenner roofs one from Gaudreau at 7:13. So Johnny Gaudreau's got a point streak. Jenner gets a goal. It's 1-0 Columbus. Here we go. Pens, no shots in the first half of that period. Nothing. There just wasn't anything. Columbus was all over them. In fact, the shots at one point were 11-0 before Pittsburgh finally started getting a shot. Penguins get a power play. This is where the momentum swings a little bit. There's a shorthanded rush and a post for Danforth. The power play's killed off, but Pittsburgh did manage 2 shots. They were up to 3 at that point. Voracek has a rush chance that's saved and deflects out. 2:12 left. The Penguins get a power play. This is where Roslovic scores shorthanded. It was a breakaway on a miscue by the Penguins. Guy's just not, I thought you were going to be there, and he wasn't. So at 18:44, it's 2-0 Columbus, and that's your score after 1. Second period. Archibald scores from Paling at 3:43. So, all right, the Penguins are coming back, right? No, 14 seconds later, Columbus gets that 2-goal lead back. It's Kent Johnson from Roslovic, his first NHL goal. And he deked around Jarry, and I was like, that's a nice goal. All right, maybe Columbus is going to win this one and, prove some people wrong. However, the Penguins get a power play. Carter was robbed in close. They did kill that power play off. Olivier had a rush shot that deflects wide, and then Ruda. It's a point shot on a turnover. Kapanen gets that turnover. Ruda from the point buries it at 10:04. So suddenly it's 3-2. At 14:19, it becomes a tie game as Heinen scores from Crosby. So I guess the arm was okay after that puck he took. Penguins press with 2.5 minutes left, but you could feel the momentum shift. Now, third period, early on, I was impressed with Columbus and their ability to kind of shut things down. The shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes. But at 5:38, Crosby puts Pittsburgh into the lead from Dumoulin, and then the Penguins press for more. This is where the momentum shift really took over. The shots are 6-2 for the Pens at the half, so you can really feel that momentum, and Columbus just didn't have an answer. Columbus presses with 8 minutes left. They don't get anything through Jarry, and then Heinen scores from Joseph and Crosby at 14:07, and just for giggles, McGinn adds one from Kapanen at 14:51. Your final score is 6-3 for Pittsburgh. So the dreaded 2-goal lead strikes again. Pittsburgh goes to 4-0-1 for Columbus, frustrated at 2-4 currently. The shots, 17-7 Columbus in the first, 16-6 Pittsburgh in the second, and 16-9 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots, 39-32 for the Penguins. Power plays, Pittsburgh 0 for 3, Columbus 0 for 1. Hits, 31-12 for Columbus. Jarry saves 29 out of 32. Merzlikins saves 33 out of 39. They need more than what they're getting from pretty much everybody in Columbus right now, and that's a problem for a team that had raised expectations. Next up, Toronto in against Winnipeg. This game was pretty feisty. And it was expected. These teams, no strangers to each other from when they were in the Canadian division together, and they really don't like each other. So it's Samsonov versus Hellebuck in this one, and of course Clifford's in the lineup, Simmons in the lineup, so Toronto with a little bit more of a heavy presence in this game. Early chances for the Leafs. Hall has a shot that's saved, and then the puck goes the other way, and Winnipeg opens the scoring. It's Dubois from Perfetti and Wheeler at 4:17. So the Jets, who at that point I thought had been kind of outplayed, they're ahead. And I thought, okay, well, that's what the Jets need if they're going to win this. But Toronto was not dissuaded by that goal. So the Leafs press, Matthews fans on one. The Jets get a power play, becomes a 4-on-4, which means the Leafs get the power play at the end of that. And Tavares scores on the power play from Nylander and Matthews at 9:56. So Tavares, very good game for him tonight. And lots of Leafs fans in attendance. It's one of those games where if you're watching and you weren't aware where it was, you could be forgiven for thinking this game was in Toronto. Completely forgiven. When Tavares scored that, the ovation would tell you, so this is in Toronto. I thought it was in Winnipeg. Jets go back to the power play. Couldn't set up. It gets killed off. There's 2 shots on it. It doesn't really have any really big pressure on it. The Leafs then get a power play. Matthews fires one wide. That's killed off. Matthews is struggling a bit to start the season. That happened last year too. Second period. Shots are 2-1 for Toronto. 5 minutes into it. Pretty much a chess match at that stage. Schmidt was robbed on a fast break, so he was trying to get one. The Jets press at 7.5 minutes, but with 9 minutes left, the shots are 9-7 in favor of Toronto. Toronto's doing a pretty good job on the road here. Jets press, but they're kept to the outside by Toronto. Hellebuck holds when the Leafs press. Giordano blocks a shot. Puck goes the other way, and Kampf scores from Simmons and Clifford at 14:34 on the rush after Giordano had that massive shot block there. Things get punchy after a hit on Robertson. Good. It's good to see the Toronto Maple Leafs standing up for their player when he takes a hit. Morrissey was a late hit by Morrissey. Didn't target the head, so that's good. And I also thought Morrissey kind of let up a little bit. Like, it wasn't as bad as it looked initially. But it stays 5-on-5 because of the punchiness after. But I think Toronto fans probably fine with that because they stood up for their fallen teammate who did stay in the game. So the dislikes ramping up at this point. There was some hits being thrown both ways. Basically, the Morrissey hit kind of blew up that powder keg. And that's all right. It's open season. So 1:46 left. The Leafs get a power play and they score on it. It's Tavares on the power play again from Matthews and Sandin at 18:56. So Matthews doesn't get a goal, but he gets a couple of helpers. And after 2 periods, it's 3-1 for Toronto. So third period, the Jets press. Samsonov denies. This is when it becomes the Ilya Samsonov show. It really does. He's playing the best hockey he has, I think, in his career. He had some good runs with Washington, but this run he's on right now with Toronto is remarkable. Connor fires one wide. Things get punchy after a hold by Samsonov because, again, these teams really do not like one another. Jets get a power play. That was killed off by Toronto. The shots are 8-1 for the Jets with 9 minutes left. You just had the feeling, though, they're not coming back from 2 goals behind. Samsonov gets out of the net, but he recovers. That was a nice defensive play by Toronto that while he's out of the net and has a bit of a mishandle, they're able to make sure Winnipeg doesn't get the goal. Winnipeg pulls the goaltender, which allows Toronto to hit the empty net. It's bunting from Marner and Matthews at 17:23. So Toronto wins this one 4-1. Might have been their best game this year. They go to 4-2 for the Jets. They're 2-3. And after that big win over Colorado, they have a couple of frustrating setbacks. So now they've got to recalibrate and get it back together. Shots are 9 apiece in the first, 14-10 Toronto in the second, and then 12-5 Winnipeg in the third. Final shots are 31-28 for the Jets. Power plays, 2 for 3 for Toronto, 0 for 3 for Winnipeg. So special teams were a problem for Winnipeg last year, and they're a problem right now. Hits 29-17 for Winnipeg. Samsonov saves 30 out of 31, and Hellebuck saves 24 out of 27. So Samsonov giving them the kind of goaltending that they need, and we'll see how far Toronto can go with this. That being said, I need to change boards. Before I get into this one, my rabbit licorice, he knows when I'm doing a video now. When I'm doing a video, he gets out and gets into everything. So if you notice me looking around, it's just I'm trying to make sure he's not getting, and I've already had to do one pause because he was getting into something he shouldn't have. And as soon as I stop a video, he runs and goes back into his little cubby that I've got built for him on the set. I think I need to get my wife to take a little video and post that because it is funny how he knows when I'm doing a video, just like the cats know. All right, that being said, let's talk about Philadelphia and Nashville. All right, Hart versus Saros was the matchup here, and David Poile, the ceremony for him, 3,000 games as a GM. Absolutely remarkable. That being said, he's been the GM for the Nashville Predators all the way through. This season is kind of looking like a nightmare. Niederreiter has a net drive that's saved. We had a fight between Delorier and Borowiecki. And honestly, good start for Nashville. However, on the first shot for Philadelphia, it goes in the net. It was Hayes from Farabee at 3:13. And then the Flyers pressed for more. But 7.5 minutes in, the shots are 5-2 for Nashville. So Nashville's not letting very many shots get through. Predators get a power play. That's killed off. The Flyers were stuck on 2 shots for a while in that period. Lawton steals one, but the Preds recover it before it gets to the net. Then we had a fight between Sealer and Cole Smith. So, a bit fighty in this one. Zach McEwen, who's known for fighting himself, gets a goal from Zamula at 18:36, and he buries the rebound. That was only the 6th shot of the period for Philadelphia. That was their final shot of the period. They're up 2-0. So for Nashville, the frustration was that at this point they had outplayed Philadelphia, but somehow they're behind 2-0. But it's a 2-goal lead. That's the worst lead in hockey right now. So second period, early press by Nashville. D'Angelo then had a chance that was held as there was a great press back by Philadelphia. Allison couldn't bury one. There's more pressure, and then really scary incident in this game. Borowiecki's out. His legs were moving, but he was face down on the ice and not moving a lot. So it was an awkward collision. It's not something that's going to get suspended for. There was no malicious intent. It was just one of those things that can happen against the boards, and he's stretchered off. So I hope he's okay. I hope he's not going to be out long term. Borokop is one of the best guys in hockey, and so that was tough. And that had to be tough for members of the Preds. Not only that, but for members of the Flyers too. Nobody wants to see somebody, down on the ice like that. So I hope he's okay. The Flyers end up getting a power play not long after that. It becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. The shots are 11-7 for the Preds with 7 minutes left. Hayes fires one wide on a rush. Tolvanen was then denied as they pressed. McDonough has a shot that's held in the final minute. And the Flyers are pinned down late in this period. Carter Hart's the story. For years, people have Carter Hart sucks, and I have defended him. And there have been times where I've thought, this could be one of those things that comes back to haunt you. But Carter Hart so far this year has been very good. So third period, Duchesne had a net drive that was defended. The shots are 1 apiece at 3.5 minutes. So this is, Philadelphia doing their job of shutting things down. They did really well, too. Nashville presses, Hart saves. Konechny had a rush chance that's held, and then Farabee. Farabee makes it 3-0 from Hayes and Provorov at 7:44. McEwen then had a rush that was saved. Whatever John Tortorella has been doing with the Philadelphia Flyers, whatever coaching secrets he's imparted to them, they're working. They're absolutely working. So 6:24 left. Yossi gets penalized, and I've got on the board there that it was off, was what he said. And it was really loud. It was really obvious. And the announcers didn't try to pretend he didn't say it. Just said, well, Yossi's really frustrated with that call. But you could feel at this point, Nashville's really getting frustrated with this losing, right? They won both games in Prague. They came back feeling good. They haven't won a game since. So 3:47 left. Nashville gets a power play. It becomes a 6-on-4, and they score. It's a power play marker for Duchesne from Forsberg and Granlund at 7:42. So Nashville calls a timeout. They sense that there might be some momentum here. They pull the goaltender again, but the Flyers shot blocking to hold on. Things get pushy and punchy with 8 seconds left. Clearly a frustrated Nashville team who is capable of punching and pushing with the best of them, but they lose this one 3-1. Philadelphia goes to a surprising 4-1 on the season. Nashville 2-4-1, and no, they have not proven they can beat somebody who's not San Jose to this point in the season. Shots favored Nashville 12-6 in the first, 15-11 in the second, but worrying is Philadelphia outshoots them 8-5 in the third. Final shots are 32-25 for Nashville. Power plays 0-2 for Philly, 1-3 for Nashville. The hits 38-19 for Nashville. Hart makes 31 saves on 32 shots. Saros makes 22 saves on 25 shots. So it's another stellar night for Carter Hart and for that blue line. They shut things down in the third. Very impressive road game for Philadelphia. They're starting to look like a legit playoff team, aren't they? All right, next up. Here we are. This is why people are going to load up this video. People are going to come to this. They're going to be like, where's the Vancouver review? And here it is. I'm going to say this. I have watched the Canucks since 1981. This is not new to me. What would be new to me would be if they were 4-0-2. This would be like, how do I feel? I feel pride. No, I do not. So it was Anderson versus Demko, no Quinn Hughes. This blue line it was thin to start with, but you don't have Dermott, you don't have Hughes, you don't have Pullman. You're now dipping into, they had Rathbone in the lineup, they had Juleson in the lineup. Of course, Burrows then goes into the top four, and it's not great. Early press by the Canucks. Kuzmenko had a wraparound, that wouldn't go. Podkolzin's tonight. Anderson holds on to that. Mikheyev, big hit by him. He draws a reaction. I thought Mikheyev had a decent night, though the accuracy on the shooting from numerous Canucks was an issue, so I'm not just going to single out Mikheyev there. Sabres get a power play, and they score on it. It's Dahlin. 5 games in a row to start the season. He's got a goal. From Middlestad and Thompson at 5:35. It was 5-hole. It's a screenshot, but still, it's 5-hole. And where I think there's a lot of reason, and you could almost do another video on this, Shannon. The Canucks issues there are so many right now. And this loss might be the most alarming. So Peterka misses an open net. The Canucks end up getting a power play. This is a break you need, right? Wrong. Horvat has a shot that's blocked. The fans try to call one for a 5-on-3, but no, the referee doesn't listen. So that power play's told off while some fans are telling the referee that he sucks. 1 shot for Vancouver during that power play. Canucks do get another power play shortly after that. The ref's not told that he rules for calling that penalty, and he should. But, yeah, that's killed off. Mikheyev couldn't bury one, and it looked to me, watching, Canucks are overthinking it. Trying for that perfect shot. And then Tuck scores from Skinner at 15-18 on a failed clear by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So Pettersson can't bury one as the Canucks press, and they come out of the first period with booing from the home crowd. This is their home opener. They had the big ceremony for their home opener. Yeah. 2-0 after the first. Second period, Burrows has a screenshot that's held. Garland's denied and close. And then Samuelsson is hurt near the boards. It's a leg injury. Clearly, he went down. It's another awkward play. Hopefully he's okay, but he did not return to the game, and it looked like an injury that might take a while. It looked to me like probably a ligament kind of thing. Mikheyev fires one wide on a rush. There's that accuracy issue. Shots are 5-2, though, for the Canucks at 7.5 minutes. Kuzmenko couldn't bury one on a rush opportunity. Lazar has a rush chance that deflects out. Mikheyev mishandles one on a rush. So that was the storyline. Tuck has a shot that's blocked then as the Sabres press. Canucks get a power play, but there's a dog pile with that, so I was like, are they still going to have a power play? And somehow they did. Pettersson has a sharp angle shot that's saved, but Garland scores on the power play at 13:27 from Pearson and Mikheyev. Now, they're still playing Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. No, during the preseason, they were playing Burn It to the Ground by Nickelback. Considering the start of the season, Burn It to the Ground is a much better title than Don't You Forget About Me. Although right now, they're pretty forgettable. So, and I know people are going to say, well, Nickelback sucks. Yeah, but so does Simple Minds. So it's 6 in one and half dozen in the other. At least Burn It to the Ground is kind of peppy and fun to dance to. Sabres press for an answer. Peterka has a tip that's held on the rush, and at the horn there's some pushing because the Canucks are frustrated. Now, there was also an exchange between JT Miller and Luke Schenn during this game where Garland got in the middle. I expect to see a lot of press jumping on that, a lot of fans jumping on that. That just happens when teams are frustrated. Like I said, I saw Nashville not happy. I've talked about other teams that definitely are dissatisfied with their play early in the season. I'd be more upset if players weren't arguing with each other on the ice when you see a start like this. When everybody's still happy and feeling good, which is how I felt with the Oilers back in, I want to say like a decade ago. The Oilers were just miserable, and yet, while the record was miserable, the guys seemed quite happy and upbeat. Like, we'll figure it out. And it just, that can't happen. So third period, ref said goal, but Hinostroza hit the post anyways. And so since they hit posts and out, Buffalo figures, well, we'll just score now then. Olofsson scores from Middlestad at 1:54. So again, the Canucks get a break of sorts, in that it wasn't a goal and it wasn't called a goal. But it's 27 seconds later, they allow the goal anyways. And again, it's these little breakdowns. Sabres press for another, and the booing gets louder and louder and louder. Canucks get a power play, but it was bad. It was bad. There was no other way for me to put it, but it was a bad power play. No shots, and a few of them are fired high and wide. And then it's an empty net goal. So they pull the goaltender early because you got to, and it's 16:31. Gergenson's from Olofsson. The upsetting part of this is how easy it was for Buffalo to come out and get the empty net goal. Wasn't a whole lot of effort. Just, you want our net, it's right there. All right, there you go. And then Olofsson scores again, his second goal of the third, from Dahlin and Asplund at 17:21. And I'm going to say this, I wrote it on the board. If you're upset during a game, I get it. You want to boo during a game, I get it. Do not throw things on the ice. And I didn't see a jersey on the ice. That'll happen. Somebody's going to be like, oh, I'll go viral, I'll throw my jersey on the ice. I'm cynical that way. I don't view it as like, I'm protesting the team. You want to go viral. So your final score is 5-1. Canuck fans classying it up by throwing crap on the ice. All you're doing is delaying the end of the game. You're making the end of the game take longer. Buffalo goes to 4-1. They look fantastic. Vancouver looks awful. They're 0-4-2. So these are two teams headed in completely different directions. For Vancouver, they outshot them 12-10 in the first and 10-7 in the second, but Buffalo outshoots them 10-8 in the third. Final shots 30-27 for Vancouver. Power plays, Buffalo 1-for-1, Vancouver 1-for-4. The hits were 40-17 for Vancouver. They can hit. They outshot them. Goaltending, Anderson 29 saves on 30 shots. Demko 22 saves on 26 shots. And yeah, it really... point your finger wherever you'd like with the Canucks. I don't think any Canuck right now looks very good with this being the home opener. It's just the first game at home and people are already throwing crap on the ice. All right, here we go. All right, next up. So meanwhile, Calgary. So a Canadian team, a Western Canadian team that's doing quite well. We saw Edmonton fall today. We see Vancouver fall. How did Calgary do? Well, it didn't start out good. And their comeback victories are starting to become a thing, but they've got to start on time. So it's Ranta versus Markstrom, and at 1:44, there's a 2-on-1 on a turnover, and Aho buries it. So it doesn't start out well. Shots are 3-0 for Carolina at 4 minutes. Teravainen was denied on a rush. The Canes get a power play. That was killed off. Their power play was not successful because very good penalty kill by Calgary. DeHaan then gets his first back with the Canes from Stastny and Chatfield at 10:28. So it's 2-0 Carolina. Martinook nearly adds another. Flames get a power play and they score on it. It's Nazem Kadri from Toffoli and Anderson at 13:31. Natchez then fires one high as the Canes press, but coming out of that first period, it's 2-1 for Carolina. Second period, early press by the Flames, and they would score. Ritchie, he caught Ranta cheating off the post and puts it in off his skate. Dubé and Kadri with the assists at 2:31. So the Flames have tied it. Shots are 4-0 for the Flames at 4 minutes. So they had the slow start. Now they're in the game. Flames get a power play. That was killed off. 3 shots for Calgary on that one. Canes had no shots on net 7 minutes into the period. So slow start for the Canes and really a slow period overall. The Canes get some zone time. No shots on net there. Kadri fires one wide. The Canes rush. The Flames go back to the power play. There was a shorthanded 2-on-1 by Carolina. That was defended. Doesn't get to the net. But they do kill off Calgary's power play. The Canes press with 8 minutes left. There was a goal by Stepan late, but it was offside. So that comes off the board, and so the score after 2 periods is 2 apiece. Third period, early press by the Canes. Slavin hits the side of the net. Then the puck goes the other way, and Slavin defends a rush chance from Kadri. Flames get a power play. Canes cleared out. Good aggressive penalty kill. Toffoli has a shot that's held. That's killed off. Goal line stand by Markstrom on a nice play where I thought that puck was going to go in, and it didn't. So Markstrom makes a really nice save there. Easily his best game of the season tonight. Canes get a power play. It cycles. Good cycle. But when you're cycling, you're not getting the shots on net. It's killed off. 6:36 left. The Canes go back to the power play, and this was key. It was 4 minutes. So Burns was bleeding pretty good there. They got that on camera too. So I'll go ahead and echo Greg Millen on that. Yeah, thanks. So a lot of blood. The Flames didn't let him set up. The Flames really, that 4-minute power play, they killed it off and made it look easy. Shorthanded Backlund shot was saved. Like I said, they killed it off. We go to overtime. Canes control. There was some back and forth there. The Flames get it away from them. The Flames initially had it and all that fun stuff. Svechnikov whiffs on one on a 2-on-1. Anderson tips one wide. Natchez nearly ends it. Can't. Natchez is having a good breakthrough season, though. Lindholm has a rush, but he was at the end of his shift, so he wasn't able to get that all the way to the net. dumps it in instead. And then Kadri fires one wide on a rebound, but Toffoli ends it from Rasmus Andersson at 4 minutes and 30 seconds, just as I was getting ready for the shootout. Your final score is 3-2 in overtime for Calgary. They go to 4-1 on the season. Carolina 3-1-1 on the season. Losing back-to-back games, and now they're going to Vancouver. They're the next opponent for Vancouver, and they're going to be really angry because they've lost 2 in a row, so that'll be fun. Shots 12-6 Carolina in the first, 14-2 Calgary in the second, and then 12-8 Carolina in the third. In the overtime, Calgary outshoots them 4-1. Final shots 31-27 for Calgary. Power plays, Carolina 0 for 4, Calgary 1 for 4. Hits 26-19 for Calgary. Ronta saves 29 out of 32. Markstrom saves 25 out of 27. That'll fix the save percentage I talked about in this morning's video. Some of those guys got the save percentage up. Some of them didn't today. So we'll see if that continues. All right, next up, last game of the night, I promise. Colorado in against the Vegas Golden Knights. And I need to update the records. Easy peasy, all done. All right, Georgiev versus Thompson in this one. I think Georgiev had his best game as a Colorado Avalanche goaltender tonight. Not that Thompson was bad tonight either. Both goalies were pretty good. Carrier is denied on an opening chance. So Georgiev was tested like 10 seconds in. Strong start by Vegas, but Avs, they press at 4 minutes. They end up getting a power play as well, and they score on it. It's Nathan McKinnon on the power play from Makar and Lehkonen at 5:39. He just wires it. No chance for Thompson on that one. Vegas gets stuck on 2 shots. They had the first 2 shots of the period, and then Avs start taking it over. Avs press with 7 minutes left. O'Connor has a chance that deflects wide. With 1:08 left, though, Vegas gets a power play, and this is a very Vegas thing. Marchessault scores at 19-17 from Stone and Eichel on the power play. This is the 6th year of their history. This doesn't surprise me with Vegas at all. You do not want to give Vegas that chance late. You especially don't want to do that in the third period either. Second period, Nichushkin's denied. The Avs control early. Carlson was then denied from the slot, so Georgiev again, looking pretty good. Avs get a power play. Makar has a blast that's fired high, but they score on that power play, and it's Rodriguez with his second goal in the same amount of games. From Girard and Byram at 6:21, and that went in off Petrangelo's stick as far as I could tell. Just from the look on his face, I'm pretty sure that what I saw on TV was accurate because he wasn't happy. Vegas presses with 8.5 minutes left. They get a power play. Roy's denied from the slot. Good cycle. Stone fires one wide, and Byram makes a really nice save as well. So they kill it off, and then the Avs get a rush opportunity the other way. Nichushkin was denied on a rush opportunity too, and that was after Girard had a near miss from the point. So very good play tonight from the Colorado Avalanche on the road, and it hasn't been an easy week for them either, travel-wise, right? So Georgiev denied Smith in the closing seconds, and then with 0.2 seconds left in the period, Vegas gets a power play. So obviously that rolls over into the third period. Avs killed it off, and then they rush. So they kill it off, and then they go the other way. Vegas gets a power play. That was killed off. No shots. So Vegas's power play, kind of a concern there tonight. Haig then had a rush chance that was held. But then Nichushkin goes absolutely beast mode. Just Nichushkin's play, this was his 6th goal. I believe this is his first 5-on-5 from Eric Johnson at 8 minutes and 11 seconds. It just feels like Nichushkin said, "No, I'll just score. You like that, coach? All right, I'll be back. I'm just going to score." So it doesn't stay a 2-goal lead for long. Stevenson scores from Stone and Eichel at 10:32. So Eichel with a couple of helpers tonight. Girard's stick was stuck in the boards. So you know those little... There's not much space between... Like there's the boards look all like they're all... But sometimes a stick blade can stick in there. That's what happens to Girard. Vegas looked to tie it, and they had some momentum as well. Heavy pressure by Vegas with 5 minutes left. They pull the goaltender with 2 minutes left, and that's where Georgiev earns his paycheck. The final score is 3-2 for Colorado. They go to 3-2-1 with the win. This was an important win for Colorado. Vegas 4-2 on the season with the loss. No shame in losing to Colorado, of course. The shots 10-5 Colorado in the first, 16-11 Vegas in the second, 15-4 Vegas in the third. That's what Vegas does in third periods at home. Final shots 36-25 Vegas. It feels like with Vegas it's been the same template through their entire history. Third period they just pour it all on, and usually they come back and win. Colorado avoids that tonight. Power plays, Colorado 2 for 2, Vegas 1 for 4. Hits 42-37 for Vegas. Pretty physical game. Georgiev saves 34 out of 36. Thompson saves 22 out of 25. So very entertaining games tonight. And there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. And again, just to Canuck fans, don't take it that seriously. Like it's early in the season still. I mean, we're almost 10% of the way through it, but we can still say it's early until you're about 10% of the way through, which is, we're almost there. But yeah, seriously, don't throw crap on the ice. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.